Hey, so I had a good day. Um, well, besides the weather, which was terrible, I was up on the roof and it started off like great, it was like, outside it's not 10 degrees. And I was doing an electrical issue. It wasn't, I did it correctly, but it took me a while. And when I say I did it correctly, I tried to be complete a thorough diagnosis prior to ordering parts. So basically, I found problem A, which is blown fuse, and then found problem B, and basically I jumped out the fuse. It was a control voltage fuse, and there were other fuses, and then a breaker, so it wasn't um, you know un unsafe. But I jumped out the fuse because I wanted to continue the diagnostics. So then when I continued the uh, diagnostics, my voltage dropped off. It like cut in half, and what yeah, there was a coil that was bad, and that was uh, basically cutting my voltage in half because it wasn't uh, energizing the coil, but the voltage was basically grounding out, but it wasn't grounded. It was kind of one of those situations. Um, so it was backfeeding through the coil, and it was cutting my voltage in half. And that was just a weird thing, but it does happen. But at first, I was like, "Oh, I got 30 volts. I got 40 volts. What the freak?" So I'm like going in and I'm checking breakers and I'm pulling off the panel. I'm like, "Do I have the right breaker? It's a commercial property, so there's like, are there 10 breakers?" Oh no. No, I'm thinking. Anyway, I left the outer panel off the breaker. I gotta go back. But it's no big deal. It's commercial in like a locked room. Um, so the anyway, I gotta shoot a text. I gotta stop by there. Um, the uh, the other thing. So anyway, it was the coil voltage was I'm sorry, the coil was messing up my voltage. So I was chasing ghosts for a little while, just basically figuring out what was going on. And once I figured out I had a bad coil too, it was the coil on the for the compressor. Then I was like, oh good, it's like, but it's the coil. It wasn't the contacts. So I was like, the compressor's fine, probably okay, but even then, it's like I gotta jump that out to test the compressor, because last thing I need to do is run to the supply house because there's a freezer full of seafood, expensive seafood, at a uh, uh, very nice restaurant, and Japanese, I believe, and the I could be wrong. Anyways, very nice restaurant, and the entire freezer was full of seafood, and it was probably 25 degrees when I got there, and 2 hours later, I'm firing up the compressor for the first time, and now I got the compressor running, and I know my charge is okay. I know my compressor is okay, and now I can order parts, and basically leave it running while I go and get parts, so his box stays at temp and he doesn't lose his product. And it worked out like well because I was able to get that done. I got some oil additive in there, and I'll tell you, I'm not a. Here's the thing. It's like do what I don't do anything I do because it's like if you do it once, it's okay. If you do it once on a 10 or 15-year-old system, it's okay. If you do it 3 times to the same system, you kill it. You kill it. So just do, just let one crazy person do it. Don't everybody become crazy people. Because it's true. I mean, I mark them, but you know, if the compressor's making noise and it's had a rough time, I'll put some additive in there, if there's an ongoing leak, I'll put some sealant in there. I try to pick my battles, but I do agree that there's some liability. It's a 15-year-old system, and or more than that probably, and the compressor was, you know. Anyway, when I did the system renew this time, and it's like a synthetic oil additive. It's like Lucas, and the compressor noise just smoothed right out. And it was nice to hear because I knew at the very least that added a little bit of life to it. It could definitely tell just from the noise, which is no doubt. And let me just tell you, this guy, I'm up on the roof soaking wet. I like put a freaking screwdriver right through my hand. Dude, this hurts so bad. So they gave me a contactor, right? And I ordered the, it's got a little end switch clip-on thing. I forgot what it's called on the side. It's, normally closed relay, that makes with the contact. And I ordered one, and I didn't give the guy the number, and he gave me a single, and it was a double, and so I had to drill out the old one and then put it on. And initially, I'm trying to like pop the rivet, and I'm on the back side of it, and I'm just like trying to strip out the rivet with my screwdriver, and it slipped, and I just put it right through my freaking palm of my hand. I'll tell you. Oh yes, you cool. And so, anyway, the guy's super cool. He dressed my wound for me, and then, he's like, make lunch. I'm like, yeah, no doubt. And, I don't ask, like, what are you gonna make me? Or, there's sometimes they're like, what do you want? And I genuinely am like, what's good, or what's extra, or what do you think's not gonna sell? I try to be accommodating, in the hopes that, in some regard, I hope that I get treated well. But on the other hand, I also don't want to be too picky because, I mean, I don't want to be like, oh, make this, make that, and then have them kind of under their breath be like, oh, that'll be $12. Oh, you know what I mean? So I appreciate it when they offer, and I try to be like, as like nonchalant. Dude, this guy made me the spread of my life. It was one of the best meals I've ever had. They did like stir fried rice and like put eggs in it. I never had stir fried rice with eggs in it. And then they made me steak and they made me chicken, and it was like super fresh and super good. And there was all sorts of vegetables and stuff, but it didn't taste bad. Sauce, but it wasn't like buried in sauce. It was just like, it was really, really, really a good meal. And they ate with me. It was cool. It was just genuinely like, I don't know. I just genuinely appreciated it. It was a quality meal. I one of the best meals I've had in a long time. And their system's running good. When I went and checked the temp afterwards, I was like in the freezer for about maybe 10 minutes, just putting the cover on the thermostat. I'm sorry, blanked out for a second. Putting the cover on the thermostat, and then that just a minute or two, my sweatshirt was like rigid. I was like trying to get out of there because the soaking wet from being on the roof. But all in all, just a good day. Just not long, not short, not terrible, not easy. Just a good day. That's all. Miss my kids, but I'm having work.